with Deep Thought Cycle Vlogs. Vlog. Today's a very special day. The bicycle is ridden 20,000 kilometers officially on Garmin. In actuality, it's probably done more than that. I haven't recorded all my rides, right? But to celebrate that, I'm gonna sit down and find a spot and do a little review about the last 20,000 miles of this bike, right? So here we are in the glorious traffic, just to clean out my lungs. I like to find a nice Chinese spot to stop. There's not a lot on this route, so let me you know, this is not the best route for like sit down, and I don't drink beer anymore, but still sit down and relax, right? Maybe. Normally I don't relax on the way home. I get home to my kids and my wife, you know. Time is so precious, but I'll try to figure it out. Where can we have our little review shot? This is Zhujiang Newtown. Commercially developed area. They sell Lamborghinis up on the left. Probably not where we're going for sure. I might could do a rolling review, right? But let's sit down and do it a different way, okay? So I'll do my traffic weaving, and I'll catch you guys soon for the 20,000 kilometer recap. See you soon. Well, you know what? I wanted to do the report yesterday about the 20,000 kilometer recap, and I wasn't able to do it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ride to an old street by where I used to live a long time ago with my wife Wong and my son Kwautakwe, and this is a place where we lived a couple years before Bobby was born. And then Bobby was born, and the landlord kept raising the rent, so we moved to a more expensive or a cheaper place outside of Guangzhou. Right now I'm about one subway stop away, and you know, when we first moved here, before I had my bicycles, you know, one subway stop in our head was a big difference. You know, we never took taxis that much. Never did anything like that. Taxis were like a rich luxury for us. Coming from Guangzhou, my salary was lower, and we were always pretty thrifty. Poor, I guess. But we survived together as a team. Like a lot of families, I guess. Doesn't matter what country you're in, right? We're language you speak. So one subway stop and 2 subway stops, that was a big deal, a big distance. I mean, I did rollerblades, and my wife even had some rollerblades too. And tried going through some foldable bikes. I had a bike in Guangzhou for a little while. But I didn't have one in Guangzhou right now when I lived over here. We're getting close to our location here. This is called Martyrs Park. And the story about this is, you know, Sun Yat-sen, I told you about him before. If you watch my other videos, he tried to start a couple of revolutions in China, and he failed, and people died. And across the street here, there's a memorial where they're buried in there. And ironically, he went to the US in California, to San Francisco or San Diego, where he had refuge, where he tried to formulate his plan to have a successful revolution. And during this time, I've learned about the Chinese Exclusion Act. It was a really, really tough time for Chinese people to even get into the country, right? So it's surprising that he was allowed to go there. I mean, went there, he failed in China doing it. He went back to the US, basically. And then when they found out that they were having their most recent attempt was successful, he quickly flew back to China where he could try to lead the people that were successful. Makes you wonder, like, how much the US had a part in that revolution that he was in. And because like nobody could just go into America from China. It was, they were excluded, but they're not allowed. So I don't know what the official US stance was on that. It's pretty interesting. More nation building, I guess, right? So over there is a place called, the subway stop is called Martyrs Park, Lishilian, Chinese, and it's like an underground fallout shelter, pretty much. That they turned into a shop, like a popular teen shopping mall, targeted towards teenagers and stuff. And you go down there through the big blast stores and stuff, they're still there. There's a park up there where Kwaltaco first learned how to rollerblade. And the stadium here didn't always have shops on the other side of it. On the bottom, you just got them on the front. This McDonald's is new. You know, me and my wife thought about buying a little place here, renting it, and making a cafe. We didn't do it, but we thought about it. Should I show you where we used to live? It was a hard time living back then. There's a stadium in there. And we probably do the review. Why not maybe go back and show you where we lived the first time together. The first time we came here, we lived in an apartment flat with everybody else, with like a dorm for a training center, and about 11, 12 other foreigners lived in that dorm, and I was the only one that was with my fiance, or my girlfriend actually. I mean, that was before we got married, and that was before we went down to get Kwaltaco to bring him up to Guangzhou. It's the first job I came up to Guangzhou for, and then that was just like a not very good training center school. But it paid the bills, and Down here, let me show you where I used to live here. Go down this street, and this is the old Guangzhou neighborhood. There's no foreigners that ever lived here. Looks like they made the streets new. So this is all a new street. It used to be the fat cobblestone, but I guess it's not new anymore. They probably changed. I mean, I've been living in Panyu now for a long time, like maybe, I don't know, 10 years at least, maybe. I'm not sure. 9 years. And I got some pictures of my wife and Kwataka walking through this area. It was great for lighting, for photography. When I lived here, I used to be a freelance photographer. I tried to be. And then all my stuff got stolen when we moved to Panyu. It's a tree coming through the house here. And I used to like living here. This is a nice place to live, I thought. Oh wow, they made this new here. This is all new. It's all very new. Used to go to that store there all the time. That was their shop, that little corner shop down there. And let's see what they did here. Oh, I just passed it. Well, this is a new building here. This is they built this telephone building when I was living here. Used to go out this alleyway up ahead. It's a really old part of Guangzhou too. Used to be somebody sold cats there. It made me very angry. Sold dead cat meat there. And if you see that second floor balcony up there, the second balcony on the corner, we lived there for quite a long time. And this place was always empty right here, and I always wanted to buy it. It's so cool. An antique house back in there. Up there on the second floor is where we lived. And yeah, we'd go up these stairs right here to get there. Carrying everything up there such a long time. Yeah, this is where they changed us a little bit here. This is a new little build here, and used to buy all of our drinks were bought from right here for so many years. A long time ago. If you walk this way, walk this way, you could go out to the subway. Go out the back way, and a long time I lived right here. This up across the street there is where Solaris or Bobby got and Kwataka got their vaccinations in the neighborhood hospital. Probably fake, right? We used to always scare Kwataka a little bit and tell him that this was a haunted house here. It was always kind of spooky looking before they fixed it up. And oh, I remember Kwataka and Long walking down this street before Bobby was born. It makes me a little bit sad, actually. A little bit sad to come back by this area. It was a harder time back then. So many years ago. So, we're going to do a review here down this street. And they call this street where I'm going to go take you guys to, they call it Milk Street in Chinese, because it used to have a milk factory a long time ago. Back there was the old part. I mean, you don't. It's much different than the normal places the foreigners live, right? This is Milk Street up here. And it was always quite a bit of a walk to the subway. Oh, I used to work really hard back then. I always worked hard. Long time, you know. Let's see if I can remember how to. Down there, so long ago. So this is. Milk Street. We'll sit down. We'll do a review, okay? This here's Milk Street, and also it's changed a lot. There used to, all these stores are closed. They used to be open a lot. Maybe it's lunchtime right now. A lot of things have shut down. Wow, look at every single shop here is shut down. I remember when these were all open. I remember when they built these are the newer version. They had an older version and they were all open. And now, like so many businesses, they're all closed. I don't think it's just a lunch thing. This is something kind of freaky. And just go to this Xinjiang med noodle place is right here, and it's closed down. Not anymore. Huh? It's wow, scary how everything's closed down, right? So up here is the old milk factory, right? My bell is broken right now. So, well, that guy's is still there. So this stuff has remained the same. A little bit high tech, a little bit updated. And we used to walk down here and get a treat. Let me see if I can find a place out here to get a snack and sit down and make a video for everybody. There was a time when I had beer, and this time we'll do it differently. Maybe something to. Oh, I just gotta sit down there, but they don't have a drink shop there anymore. Right here on the right, this is an old milk factory, right? Right here. So we'll turn around and I'll go back and I'll find a. Right there is the old milk factory. I plan on sitting down right here, but it's not. It looks like it's a new kind of shop now. It's not there anymore to sit down, so let me go up a little bit and see what we got up here. Is this only a restaurant? Yep. That's too bad, huh? All the little stores getting squeezed out, huh? It's putting a damper on our parade, huh? We'll find somewhere. Have no fear. It's unbelievable. Oh, they got some stuff here. Okay. Looks like we'll do our review right here since this is the only place left. And they have cold drinks there. Got some chairs here, right? Okay, everybody, give me a couple minutes and I'll turn off the camera and I'll turn it back on. Okay, everybody. Wait a second here. Okay, everybody. Long time since we sat down together off the bike. Sorry it's not beer anymore, but it's cold and it's good and it's alright, man. I don't really need a beer to clean this off a little bit. Don't need a beer to relax. I mean, you can relax with beer, but I'm good, you know. So I'm going to talk about the 20,000 kilometer review. I'm going to show you my bike a little bit and talk about it. But before I show you the bike and go all over it, you know, I should talk about how I got this bike and why I got this bike and what does this bike mean for me and my family and why do we have a bike, right? The reason why we have a bike is China invented bikes. Ironically, it all comes back to China, right? And we have lots of people here that ride bikes. So I had a bike before this. As I was just telling you, I lived in that house over there. And actually, right before we moved, I had some sort of dream about buying my old bike from my dad or something. It happened to be a Gary Fisher, and I was teaching for a contract over not too far from here, not too far from where we just that same street I just came from, actually. On the end of it, I was going to a job and I went by the first Trek Gary Fisher shop that I've ever seen in like 6 or 7 years in China. I couldn't believe it. Right after having a dream. And of course at this time, this was back in 2010 or something. I don't remember when. It was when Gary Fisher was already sold out to Trek. This was before 2008, I guess. A long time ago. When Gary Fisher already sold out, I bought this bike and I got my first 29-inch bike, and it was great. I had a couple of my children born, and I rode a lot, and I rode really hard, and I rode much harder than I have been since I got this bike. I was working the cheapest jobs in multitudes to try to pay for my kids to be born, and it was really tough, and it was really good exercise, you know. It was great. Fast forward 25,000, you know, ironically, it was more than 20,000 kilometers, maybe 25 or something. Around the same time that I've had this bike here, I was exhausted and tired and had a couple beers, and wasn't wasted, but I did get hit during the night, got knocked out, woke up, my bike was gone by a car, and it was a tragic, it was devastating. It cost a lot of money, and it cost a lot of my family's resources. It was a Gary Fisher Cobia, and it had custom tires and seat, and my bags had a computer on it. It was just devastating loss, actually. And at the time, I was riding so much. I was really doing 450 a week or more. I was actually, at that time, I was on Strava. I was like within the top 10. The people that did Strava at the time in China, I was even in the top 1, 2, or 3 position. Can you imagine that? For 1.4 billion people, I mean, I really was in the top 7, 6. within the whole country. Imagine that, right? There's people that ride crazy. I was riding crazy. You know, like 1,600 kilometers or more a month. You know. So even when I lost my bike, I was kind of scared because I just had babies and I was driving crazy. It was aluminum. It was a little bit lighter. I was stronger and faster. I was driving a little bit crazy. I thought, well, maybe I need to take a break. You know, maybe we'll turn around because the back here has maybe a little bit better, right? Not so sunny. But I was worried I was going to get in an accident, so I stopped riding for a little bit. And I said, well, I stopped riding, and I got fat. I have hypothyroid, so I gained weight. I was like 68 kilograms, and you could see my six-pack and stuff like that, you know. Skinny, it was going to work, you know. And then I got fat, and I got like to 85 kilograms, whatever that is in pounds, to 86 kilograms, and I got a blood clot in my leg. And I thought, oh no. So I tried to swim. I said, well, I'm going to start swimming. And I did that. I swam like about, 70,000 kilometers or 70,000 meters. And I tried to go every morning to Guangzhou because there wasn't those pools in Panyu that I could go to, and I'd have to take a couple, 3-4 hours a day to swim. And it was great. I love swimming, and I got really healthy. But you know what? It was so hard. It was so hard to go and. I wish I wasn't in the sun so much. Maybe I'll scoot back in the shade a little bit, huh? There we go. There we go. We got some advanced light work going on here, right? Okay. A little bit better for me. So I tried swimming, and wow, anybody that's got a family knows that swimming takes a lot of time, and I don't have free time to go work out. I started to feel like selfish, like, oh my God, I never go to a gym and work out because sorry, I got a cold, because I think that's just too much time. But I owe it to my family because I'm not rich and I don't have health insurance, and my family depends on me. I owe it on my family to not be ever sick or hurt. I never had a sick day off in the whole year, and I almost never missed a day of work. I mean, in my job, I'm not permitted to be sick. It's not allowed, and so health is really important. But I wasn't able to actually swim every day. It was just ridiculously, it was expensive, but it was hard with time. So I said, you know what, forget it, we're gonna get a bike again. My wife agreed, and so I went to Hong Kong. I looked up Surly. This is a Surly Ogre, and Surly doesn't sell bikes. They don't sell bikes. They support local, like local now, and local, buy local, and so that makes it really, really hard. When you live in China, to get a Surly bike. And the whole country did not have a Surly frame. Well, Hong Kong is China, and I don't mean that. So Hong Kong did have a frame, and they had one small Surly Ogre. And I said, okay, that's it, son, we're going to do this. And Bobby and Claris and me, we went to Hong Kong and got these bags. First we got the frame, and then we got the bags. I mean, we did 2 trips. We went back the second trip. Look, there's a chicken over there. Well, that's a big one, huh? Better not come over here, I will eat it. Alright, so we got, the first time we got the frame and the forks, and honestly the frame and the forks, we got it, and I thought, wow, it looks so small. maybe it's too small for me. I never built a bike up from nothing, and it was tough because it was the first time, and me and Kwaltag got some pictures of Kwaltag, and I remember going down there with the boys, and I was fat, and I got it, you know. I tell you stories about my old bike when I was fat, getting into shape on that bike. It's a chicken. Rooster. In. Okay, so anyways, we got this bike, we brought it on the train, we brought it back, and I ordered 2 tires from CRC, and not these wheels. I first ordered it with the Mavic EN821 32 spoke rims with Hope Evo hubs and DT Swiss spokes and Schwalbe Marathon Supreme tires. That's how the wheels came. And it was really hard, and I ordered this FSA headset, and I didn't want to cut my steerer, and I'm really happy I'd never cut my steerer because I like it to be more upright. At times when I first had though, I had my stem down here. I had a different stem. I had a 110 or 120 millimeter stem. This is a much shorter Control Tech stem, like 40 millimeters or something. And I'll tell you, I didn't switch this out I only switched that out in like the last 4,000 kilometers or something. And wow, it's so much better to be shorter. I thought a long stem because I always like to have a long top tube. I never liked the Trek or the giant short top tube. I like the long one to lay out. But in this situation, I actually wrote it was too laid out. So when I first got the bike, I had a straight bar from CRC, and I never used a straight bar at all. I called Jones up and I bought the Jones loop bar from his wife, helped me in the mail, and they sent it to me here in China. And I actually didn't have the XT brakes that are on. Those came like about 7,000 kilometers. I had Avid BB7s, and I had some situations where they locked up, and I had some problems with the BB7s. So I switched to the XT hydraulic brakes with the XT hydraulic brake handles, and I've never bled them, and they work so great. They work great. For a long time I had the 203 millimeter on the front with the old wheel set, and this is brand new. I just put this one on here about maybe 400 kilometers ago, and maybe 300 kilometers ago, and it's great. This is a 203. This is a new RT88, RT99, but I had the 6-bolt. This is a center lock LX hub on here now. You can see my recent review of these tires, this wheel set. But I remember upgrading. I think that originally I didn't buy a 203. I think I bought a 180 or 160. I don't know what it was. But I remember going originally up to the 203, and it's so great. I'm so happy I did it. You know, I had the original, the Avid brake discs on there before and stuff, and switching to the XT 203s really improved the braking. So this Avis Bordeaux Plus 6,000 whatever lock. I had one point where I strapped to the back, and I tried to strap it to the seat tube, but in the end this is where it ended up. And I don't lock my bike up a lot, and it works very well when I do lock it up. But it's pretty short, you know, and I guess I need more locks, right? You know, it was really difficult to get the wheels into the country. I had to pay a lot of tax on it. The wheel set, the original wheel set I got from CRC in Ireland or UK or whatever, and so the Brooks saddle here is the original saddle. I should put some of the treatment on there. It's starting to dry up. You can see the rivets are all rusted and stuff, but It's a great saddle. I had a Thompson laid back seat post. There was offset laid back, and I wanted it to lay out, but after realizing that's not right, you could see the video where I got this. This is I don't know what this is called. This is the Crankbrothers Seat Set and seat post. I tell you what, it is so difficult to this seat post clamp is non-standard, and it's really a pain in the ass. I got a really good deal on this. I paid like really cheap, 600 yen or something, and because it was the cheapest seat post I could get, it was really light. I didn't know how hard it was going to be, but maybe I just didn't figure out. I figured it out now. I got the star thing, the star wrench. Works very well. So the Crankset, I'm still running the original Shimano LX trekking crankset on here, and the thing about the LX crankset is it's got the bigger, I forget if it's 42 tooth or 44 tooth big ring, and it's great. I like to have those extra teeth in there. The crankset arms on here, I got them longer. I forget the length of these. I think they're 173 instead of the 170, I think. But they're the longer crankset, and I thought that when I bought it that would help me because I was really powerful for my old bike. I thought that helped me to get a higher average because I like to ride at the big gear. In the end, maybe it slowed down my spinning. If I could do it again, I might get a shorter crankset. I've worn up the paint there, but you know, it works pretty well. I wish I had the front ring on there to keep the chain tattoo out my leg, but no big deal. The Shimano M530s pedals, SPDs, they work very well. I've had them from my old bike. I put them on my wife, but they're just like solid. I wanted for a long time to find those. I saw some blue limited anniversary XT pedals. I always wanted to get those, but they were just too much money, so I didn't get them. But I did. I think these are awesome. They're maintenance free. I had a really difficult time when I first bought the bike to get the right derailleur for the front and the back, and this requires a special kind of setup here. I don't know what they call it, but actually Surly from America, because they gave me the wrong information, they sent me the right derailleur, so it's a little bit rusty, but this is a front derailleur that was sent from Surly because I couldn't get one in China at the time. And this rear Xd Derailleur already sent me that derailleur. Originally I had the wrong front one, and I went to Hong Kong and I got a different XT trekking because I couldn't get any in the mainland, and I always was worried I was going to break it, so Artie found me an XT trekking derailleur and he sent it, so now I got a spare, and that's really great. I think I've changed the rear cassette once. I can't remember for certain. I think I have changed it once, but the front chain rings have never been changed, and that is really something for me. That's why I chose the LX hubs over the XT, because on my old bike I had XT chain rings trekking, and I chewed up the chain rings, and I've gone through maybe 4 or 5 chains at least, and I keep it oiled, but I don't know why my old bike just chewed up tons and tons of chain rings, and not tons, but like more than one, right? So this one is still set, it's still good, right? Now here, when I first bought the bike, I had ordered an Ortlieb frame bag, and then I found out about this frame bag, the Rivelate custom frame bag, and this is so great. I use it for everything. I really use it, and it's got a super strong zipper. Some people complain about the quality. I think it's fantastic. It's a super bag. There's a little small space down there at the bottom, but no big deal. It's not so big of a deal. The fenders I have is a Planet, what is it called? Planet Bike. And these fenders work so great for the bike. I went back when I got the Surly bike trailer from Hong Kong, and I ordered the fenders from the shop. They had a pair of them because I tried another pair of fenders from CRC and they didn't work at all. So I got the Planet Bike fenders, and you know what? They didn't come with the fender flute. So I get that special, and the guy in Hong Kong, he wouldn't give me he wouldn't send the fender flute to Guangzhou, so I actually had to go to Hong Kong and pick up the fender flute and something else I forgot. Maybe I got the fender flute the same time I got the bags or something. And I got the trailer wheels for the Surly trailer we have, and so we could use it for a stroller for our kids, and that's a great thing. But this is called a fender flute, and that allows it to go down on the tire. As it comes from the factory, rides way up. And this is the original toe peak rack that I have on the rear. Now I tell you that I bought it because I had a bag from my old bike that wasn't stolen, that slides into the top, the MX Tour, that slides on the top. I've since then worn out that bag, and it was a great lightweight bag when I had a smaller computer, but now that I have a bigger computer and stuff, I couldn't fit it in the sides. But even I wore that bag to death because it's got a unique track up there. Other than that though, it's pretty flimsy. You can see these here are not thick, and if you take a look here, especially on the other side, you can see where the aluminum's been eaten into by the weight of my pannier bags over 20,000 kilometers. On the other side, it's much worse. And I have the back of it up a little bit. Excuse me, I'll blow my nose real quick. A little bit sick here. Hold on a second here. Hold on, guys. Sorry, I blew my nose a little bit. Okay. I have this up a little bit because of the trailer I got to pull. But I was worried that it's going to eat through. I don't got the money to get another rack. I hope that it will be okay for another 20,000 kilometers. With the old tires that I have, the 32 spoke tires, I could feel the flex when I had a lot of weight. With these 36 spoke TKA 540s, I don't feel the flex from carrying lots of weight on there. So I could tell you it was distinctly different between my old aluminum bike and this bike. Because of the tires alone, it felt, even though this is a still bike, it felt less rigid. And of course my old Gary Fisher had front suspension forks, and I really would like to have the rigid forks, which this bike has. I love it. It was so comfortable. The bike fits me so good, and you can see now. What else did I first have on it? Well, the Avids are missing. The Avid brakes are gone. I've gone through a set of these Ergen grips. I've changed them up, and this is the second set of ESI grip. I know if you see my other videos, you can see I've only worn this a little bit and it's starting to wear down, but it's really comfortable in the rain, and it's got a little bit of padding. I wear gloves on my old bike with the straight bar. I can't tell you how much this handlebars changed the bike. It's like a new bike when you have these handlebars on. It's fantastic. I can't say enough good things about the Jones bars. I've gone through two different different Design Deca-Drive lights. I've had another Design micro-drive light. And I've gone through 2 Oregon, this is from Portland Design light. It's what Artie sent me. It's a great city light. I ride all the time. You can see on the side. You can see the psychedelic strobe. It's not so bright as a night light, but it's fantastic for getting the car's attention. I actually just bought two of the old Designs, and if you see my other podcast on my other blog, I talk about finding a guy that had originals in the box. And it's unbelievable. I paid 350 yen and 380. I paid 730 yen for 2 Design lights, which is cheaper than the original cost. And they're both brand new, and they don't even make them anymore from Design because they combine the battery and the body for shipping. Heck of a deal. I couldn't pass it up. But I have my Garmin watch has been here the whole time, and it's a great watch. I bought this new with the bike. I still have the front speed sensor on there. I have a cadence sensor on here. My heart rate sensor I need to change the battery for. I've kept the Derailleur LX shifters. I don't know what the benefit to change to an XT shifter is. I don't have the money to waste to try it. And because I used to have these down farther, I got these spacers on here. I think about changing them sometime because I don't know how strong they are. But I put this Toe Peak phone holder on here. You've seen me go through a couple phone holders, maybe. Actually, I had this one for quite a long time. It's a great stem holder for putting your phone on there. I use it quite a bit, and I switch this off. I have the dry bag that I carry in my frame bag, and this is great, so you can touch it and it doesn't overheat. You've seen one of my kids broke one, so they're kind of expensive, but now I got the Yellow Fish program, they're not. I've gone through a couple different brake lights. I really like the cat eye light. I used to use a couple of those, but this light, what Artie sent me, I've been using for a long time now, and it's called the Sentinel 150 NR. I fully recommend this. Is a super bright light. It's awesome. Except for the mount is not very cool because it slips down. Another light I have is on the back of my. A new light I haven't done in my review about. Let's share it with you guys. This is on the back of my helmet. I'm unscrewing it right now. Hold on a second here. 1 second, everybody. I have to unscrew this off the back of my helmet to show you. Hold on a second. 1 second. Right here. Sorry. This, when you move, it blinks. Let me see here. Well, actually, it's pretty cool. When you're moving, it blinks. And when you stop, it stops. It's like a motion light. I put this on the back of my helmet. Sorry about it. It took me so long to open it, but you see it? Well, you can't do it. You got to really be on the bike. But when you stop, it's just like a brake light, right? I'm gonna do a review on it. It's a cheap thing I got, but it's really great. Sorry about that. But anyways, what can I say? I could say so much about it. The old tires, I don't mean to knock them. The Mavic EN821, they're lighter and they're fast. And the Schwalbe tires I had on there, the Schwalbe Marathon Supreme, they went like 16 or 17,000 kilometers with no puncture flats until we went to Hong Kong there, and they were absolutely destroyed. The big slash in it, and I lost a job because of it. You know, so when they had a puncture, it was catastrophic. But they were so good for so long, and I really loved them. They were fast, and I can't say enough good things about the Schwalbe Marathon Plus. These are Schwalbe Marathon Tour. These are actually 700 by 40, and why did I get the Tour over the Plus? Because of the tread, and not because I want to go off-road that much, but because the additional tread just offers a little bit more flat protection, I think, right? So yeah, so we got the Marathon Tours on there from the old wheel set. But I can tell you also I rode the Schwalbe Marathon Supreme TL Easy tubeless, and they're super light, and the first time I rode tubeless, they're super fast. I only rode them like a couple thousand kilometers, or 1,000, I don't know how long, but not that much. I didn't get any flats with them. I didn't see them silling, so I'm increasingly confident in those tires. I wouldn't want them on my bike right now because I'm getting ready to go to Nevada and go back there with my kids and pull a lot of stuff, and I just don't have the faith in them that I do in these. And if I was just going to work, I might, I don't know. I'm getting strong and I'm losing weight right now. So when I was heavier and getting back into shape, I could spin much faster and go faster on the other tires. Now that I'm getting into shape, I'm getting better with these tires. However, when you're going fast on the old tires, sometimes it's like, wow, these are great, you know. Going to work for Tesla, which I plan on doing, I wouldn't want to have a broken spoke, and I wouldn't want to have anything happen to me on the way to work. For that reason, I would maybe keep these tires rather than switching into the lighter tires. But I'm not sure. You know, in Tesla, they don't want you to be late. So for my job safety, I might have. I mean, I'm gonna have 2 wheel sets unless I sell my other set. But I don't know, I'm getting stronger, and when I was younger with my other bike, I rode really fast on my old wheel set, which is the same as this one just about. So these are TK 540s with SAPM spokes. I didn't have the Schwalbe Marathon Tour tires on there. I had the Marathon Plus, and I did switch to the Tour a little bit before my bike was stolen. I did notice they slowed me down on my old bike too, but I'll be going off-road a little bit. To go to work at Tesla, I won't be riding on the highway the whole way. I know that the tires are a little bit, the tires are a little bit wider on the EN 821 set, and they're downhill tires. I mean, these are super strong 36 spoke tires, but maybe on the other wheel set I would go in, if I was going to Tesla, and depending on the off-road conditions, because they're a wider mountain bike frame, if there's a lot of off-road on this job going to Tesla, if it's really like dirt conditions, I might just throw on the other wheel set and throw on some real wide, you know, they've got some wider Schwalbe Tour Plus, they got some wide wheels. I don't know how wide I could go on this wheel set for rubber, but you know, wider rubber off-road is going to make it better so you can go faster. 700 by 40 is kind of skinny for an off-road tire, so I hope it's kind of gravel and packed going to Tesla. But if it's a really dirty area, I might just switch and have 2 wheel sets and use the other one as pure off-road or something. I don't know. I'll have to see how that strategy works out when I get to it. But when I built this bike, I spent the most money I could, and it was really hard. I built it piece by piece because we're not really rich. And now in this current configuration, we're getting ready to go to Nevada. I can tell you that that you know, you see here. These are great. These Ortlieb bags have been great for me. They've only leaked once, and when they leaked, it got my 30-year-old IBM SSK keyboard wet, and it didn't work for a little bit, and I was freaked out. Can't believe it. I found like a cup full of water in the bottom. I don't know how it got water ingress. Normally they're super awesome in downpours. So the only time they got water in there, and it was tragic, right? But these are great for commuting. But you know what? The Arco bags, which I don't have with me here, what I'll do a review on later, but they're actually seem bigger, and I like the metal clamp on the back, and I'll do a review of those. This Old Man Mountain front rack. This is an Old Man Mountain Pioneer. This is supposed to be for 26-inch bikes. But the guy here, he made me this mount on the bottom, and I'm putting it on my bike. And yeah, you could put it on 29-inch bikes, I guess. It works. I could tilt it forward a little bit, but then that puts it away from the frame. I don't know. I don't use the rack for anything right now, actually. And when I go to Nevada, after I'm there, I'll probably use it with my kids, because it's just me and my kids. I got to carry a lot of stuff all the time. So I'll leave it on there, and I'll try to get used to the utilitarianism of it. But after I get set up and moved in, and we're not so nomadic, I could probably see myself taking the front rack off. Right now I'm leaving it on there for strength activity. I'm missing my only day that I do a review. I forgot my water bottle because I was in such a hurry. I left it on my table. But I got a big 64-ounce clean canteen in there, coffee, and I got my other side. I carry tea, and I carry tea and water. I drink it all before I get home every day. But these Salsa Anywhere racks are fantastic. They're super cool. I wish they had ratchet straps on there. You know, I have no room to put a water bottle right there. So, yeah, I could put a water bottle on the side of the bag here if I wanted to go home and put the rack on there. But if I was rich, I would get an Arco 45 for the rear. And right now I've got the Arco 35 in the front, 40 on the front. But I would go for an Arco 45 in the rear if I had the money. But these are great for commuting, and I can't complain. This bike, you know, when I put the bike together with the trailer that's not here, I was worried it was so much weight that was going to break my triangle with all the torque on these. See, the trailer attaches right here. And somebody's smoking cigarettes around here. That's terrible. And I was worried the torque was going to break my rear frame, break the axle. Carrying them with my kids, it must be like a couple 100 kilograms easy. Fully loaded. You should see the pictures, and this bike really shines. I mean, when I fully load it, and it's so hard that I gotta fight it. The bike and these tires, they give me complete confidence. And when I first loaded, I've always carried really heavy bags to work. I mean, they're not light. But when I first put all the gear to get ready to go to America, not even all of it, but about 80% of it, when I put it all on there and the kids, I thought, oh man, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. It's gonna break the bike. I was scared. And I went on a 50-kilometer ride, and the bike was stable. The bike was stable, and I even going on the bike, it was tough. You know, I was nervous, you know, about everything. I was questioning myself, my ability. I'm trying to get stronger. You know, I'm almost down to about this guy's teaching some basic. So anyway, teaching Kung Fu over there, right? When I first started riding, fully loaded, I knew that I had to get into shape. And right now, I'm still fat, but I'm getting down to 140, and I'll be rigidly lean
by the time I get to the US, and you really need to be to carry that kind of gear because it fights you every second of the day. And, so when I built the bike though, I always told myself I wanted an apocalyptical bike that could do anything, and I was really disappointed about my tire choice. I just and you know what, it's like I rode the tires and I complain about them, but they served me well. I did break a couple of the nipples on the old tire set, maybe 2 of them, 3 of them, and that wasn't good. And on this set, the TK540 on my old bike, I went 20,000 plus kilometers and had no problems at all. I actually had to get Chinese wheel builders to rebuild these. It's a second build of these because they built them wrong, and I have yet to ride long enough to really put them through the test. But I have great expectations from them, and I've gone through a couple bottom brackets here. Maybe my 3rd bottom bracket in 20,000 kilometers. It's the cheap Shimano Mountain MT80, I believe. I wish I could afford like that luxurious Chris King one, right? The original headset, I don't know how long that's gonna go for. And my bell is loose. I got a great bell here. I need to tighten it. Just came loose the other day actually. So I need to tighten my bell up, and I'll do that before I get on the bike because I use a lot. It's a great brass bell. This here is actually a bike alarm I put on. So it's great. I lock it like this, and it's pretty loud actually. It's a USB chargeable. It might be a little bit low on battery right now, but if you put your bike, you're not looking at it like I do sometimes, and somebody touches it, you know, it's pretty loud, you know, and it will go off, and so that's pretty cool. It's not charged all the way, so, but I've got 3 of these, so when I go to American, I got a remote that controls all 3, so they might be able to turn off one, but it'll make some commotion, you know, if I ever have to park it in my tent or out in my tent vestibule. I'll be able to hear it. I thought about getting motion alarms, you know, if the shelter, you know, I'm going back and we're literally going to have to go to a homeless shelter, right? And to go back to the U.S. and there's an emergency in a hurry. If the homeless shelters are overflowing, we might have to camp a little bit. But it's okay, you know, because I found out about the immigration requirements, and they require me to go back right away, so I could get my wife united with my family with the same nationality. So prepared for the worst, you know. Got bike alarms not enough, locks not enough. Nothing is enough but teamwork and preparedness, and try to see ahead, you know. And on the back here, just recently, that kind of worked out good. Oh, but it fell on my chain ring. That's not good. Okay. Here you can see the wear on my bar here from the aluminum, eating the aluminum from my rack. On my bike here, I just changed the other day. That's the 180 on the back. They say you could have a maximum size of 160. That's not true. You could put a 203 on the back. I just wasn't comfortable with moving the axle that far back, because the problem with the 203 is the mount for the bracket that it's mounted to is so thick that you need to put it back farther so it could get in, because you can't really adjust it. I don't know what, you can't adjust the camber or whatever, you can't adjust it in. So if it was a thinner mount, it might work. I believe if somebody could grind the mount down, you could fit a 203 and move it up forward more. I just couldn't make it work. I made it work, I did, but I didn't feel safe enough to carry so much with it so far back. Yeah, so what can I tell you about this bike? You've seen the parts. I think I've gone over everything on this bike. I don't think there's anything I missed, right? I hope not. And I can tell you that you know, I'm 5'6", and I'm 68 kilograms right now. I'm trying to get this. I don't know what that is in pounds. Maybe 150, 145. I don't know. I'm trying to get to 140. I was like 200 pounds for a long time riding. Didn't ride. I got to 85 kilos, I believe. 87 kilos, and this bike has never failed me. It's got a little bit of rust on the underneath here. I don't want to take out my bag here, but there's a little bit of rust where the cable hangers are. They're a little bit rusted underneath there. And the decals are coming off, right? And I don't know, I go to America and there's so much bike thieves and so much poverty. And in China there's poverty too, but Hey, 小朋友你好. Hi.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
He's gonna ride a bike. 你好.
你好.
你可以说你好吗?
你好.
多少岁吗?
你好，可能
你是1岁吗?
有了1岁。
Oh, he didn't die. Yeah. So he's 1 year old, little baby. He said hello. Yeah. So I love riding it. I'm worried about the bike thieves in America. In China, I take my bike everywhere where I work. I just found out that at Tesla, the Gigafactory, the people with desk jobs put their bikes by their desk. I'm going to try to get a desk job, but I might get an assembly line job. I hope that there's a place for his bikes at the assembly line. I really do. I hope that they don't look down on you for riding a bike to work at Tesla, because you know I see Teslas every day. You watch my vlogs. I love them, and I love the car. I love the engineering, but I don't see Tesla as just about a car company. I see it as so much more, and I don't love cars like I did when I was young. I think it's a great piece of disruptive engineering, and it represents great. And I'm sure I'd love to have a Tesla, I guess. But even if I had a Tesla, I'd like to leave it at home and ride my bike to work, you know. There'd be times when I'd be sure cool to have, though, I'll tell you what. But I don't have that kind of, I don't have any kind of need that I feel like I need a car. It would be convenient to get groceries sometimes, but I'm really happy with my life with a bicycle, and I hope that, you know, I hate when I talk about riding my bike to work, and I hate when I see people in America say, "Oh, you're gonna need a car," and I don't know. I think I have black on. I don't know how I'm gonna get to be an old man and let myself be fat. My grandfather's like 92, and he still does exercise every day, and he's not fat. And I'm not trying to shame anybody that's fat. I'm just talking about for me and my health. I can't imagine the age that I get that I stopped doing exercise. There's a chicken rooster, and I stopped running around. I don't know how that would happen. You know, whenever I stop riding my bike for a while, I get arthritis so bad. I get gout sometimes. I get blood clots, and I got gout so bad I had to lay on my sofa for like 2 weeks during a holiday. Fortunately, I couldn't get up. I had to lay on my wife's back, and she had carried me to the back. I crawl. I had so bad gout sometimes. It was so terrible. And when I ride, I don't have it. You know, and a bicycle is a poor man's health insurance, right? I ride my bike. I ride it commuting. I've got groceries in it. I pull my kids on the trailer. Right now, it's not equipped with the hitch to pull the kids because it's equipped for other trailer. And I have the trailer hitch on the back of my. I have 2 trailers. Getting ready to go. This requires a wrench to take off. It's not so easy to get off and on. Yeah. So I hope they don't look down on bringing a bike to work, and wherever you're riding. You know, I hope they don't look down on it. I can't imagine riding in bike lanes. You know, for me, I don't. A lot of people in China is very materialistic sometimes, and they think a bike is a. They have to have a lot of people I know in China. They buy cars for their face, and I don't feel like a loss of face riding a bike. Somebody asked me today. He said, "Hey, where do you live? Oh, do you take your bike?" He said, "Do you take the subway or the bike? And, do you take your bike to save money?" I said, "No. I don't know if I save money. I guess in 20,000 kilometers officially on Garmin. I'm sure I rode more than that. That I didn't record. 900 rides. I did the math. That's like 24 kilometers average per ride over 900 rides. And if you round up, that's about like 7,000 yen I've saved on the subway. And I don't know if it's cost effective, right? It keeps me out of the hospital. It costs money to buy the clothes and equipment and stuff, but try to buy durable stuff that doesn't break. And I don't really ever buy something for the brand name. I try to buy it for the functionality of it. I never was one to say, "Hey, look at my." I don't know. These bolts are kind of freaky looking. The bolts in there because I didn't have any other bolts. I kind of like the gunmetal blue color of the other hubs that I had. They're gunmetal blue of the Hope. They match the seat clamp. But I don't have any kind of brand name worshipping. I think the seat post is cheap. It was the cheapest one I could get, and the seat works really well, and the handle. Everything I have is just like functional, and it's like, and it fits me. The geometry. I really like the geometry of this frame. If I could change anything, I wish it was titanium. The Salsa, whatever. There's a Salsa mountain bike that's titanium, but it's got drop bars though, right? Sorry, I'm sick, right? I don't know that I would like to ride a bike with drop bars, but they got a titanium frame. I kind of had lusted over that titanium a little bit. I don't know what it would be like to ride a titanium frame. If I could change anything, I always wanted to get a Rollhoff. I always wanted to get a little bit. I wanted to get a what do you call it? A dynamo. But I really like my Design lights. They're not on there right now because I'm waiting for a T-bar to come in. Because when I put on I've got a front mounted, those front brackets on there for a front mount large Arkel handlebar bag when we go to America. And when you put that bag on there, you can't put the lights on there. So I've got two T-bars that I'm trying to buy to mount them one on top of each other, so it could be over the Arkel bag. And I just got the Design lights the other day. I haven't put it on there, but I'll put them on there as soon as that T-bar gets in. And yeah, it's just really a functional bike. I rode it. I fed my family. I had a speaker that I put in between there. You heard my music a lot. And I bought the Trex Air 650s. And I just rode them in the rain. They just died the other day. Really sad. So I'm autistic. I need to have my information, my podcast, and I need to communicate with people. I just bought a pair of Jabra active headsets. I'll do a review on it later on. I'll talk about that later. But the bike has brought me home, and I did drink a little bit on the bike sometimes. I rode this bike dead tired through rainstorms, through monsoons, through typhoons. I rode to Hong Kong and back. I've carried food. I fed my family, and my family wouldn't have anything if it wasn't for this bicycle. I would have had a deep blood clot and died. I wouldn't be able to walk. I wouldn't be as skinny as I am. I know I'm fat, but try to remember since January, I've lost about like, since February, I guess I lost about, I don't know, a lot, like 13 or 14 kilograms, right? I don't know what, 35 pounds or something, I don't know. And I like to be healthy for my family, so it's not really about how I look. It's about how it's healthier to be skinnier, right? And I just, you know, Surly Ogre. If I had to get another bike, maybe a Surly Troll. Yeah, but everybody says don't have 29-inch tires. I love 29-inch tires. Well, these are 700C, which is, I guess, the same thing as 29. And that Surly's got a new bike, the 27-inch tires. I don't know what that would be like. That might be kind of cool to check out. For my wife or a smaller person, it'd be too big. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. And in the future, when I might want to try the different grips, I heard they got different grips from Ergon that are for the sweat bars, because I have problems often daily. My fingers will go to sleep, and I know it has a little bit to do with the position of my seat, how much the tilt is will adjust whether my arms or my hands fall asleep, and how I'm laying down, and how the blood circulation, I guess, sitting down causes my fingers to go to sleep sometimes. So I'm always switching my hand positions a lot. When I'm on bridges and it's bad traffic, I have to go back to on the grips by my brakes so I could brake quick if I need to. But oh, somebody's smoking. I guess I'm allergic to smoke now. I don't know, man. It's killing me lately. During this video, sorry. But in the future, I might try those Ergon grips that are adjusted for sweatback bars. I don't know if it's just a gimmick, but I might try those, you know. And in the future, there'll be the T-bar on there. I'll take off the front rack eventually. I'm gonna have to change this one day because it's just eating through the aluminum. Hope it doesn't break, right? And Bobby sat on here before and it's broken the bolt in here. I had to drill it out recently, and he's getting to be a big boy now. All my boys are getting bigger. Quad Taco grew up with, he brought me this bike over, and I think about him a lot when I do this review. I think about my family, and it's just part of my family's bike, you know, and riding is a part of my family. And I think it's great. Nobody in China knows what kind of brand it is. You know, I never. Some people say, "Oh, cool bike." I don't know if it's cool looking. I know it looks like my bike. It looks like it works good, you know. And I'm gonna go right home right now. And I've stopped by barbecues, and this bike has brought me home safely. And I've got faith in it. It's my old friend, and I hope I could ride it another 20,000 kilometers and 20 more after that. It's like that job at Tesla. I want to work there forever, unless I get a job at SpaceX, right? And I hope I could ride this bike forever, unless I get a titanium frame with the roll-off rear, maybe, or maybe get one of those frames with the internal gear set. I don't know. You know, I don't know with the roll-off if you could. You know, when I'm towing, I have to use the smallest gear, the smallest granny gear to tow. And because you put a roll-off on, you can only have one chain ring in the front with the roll-off, right? So I don't know if you got the gear range, because there are a lot. When I'm going right now, I'll go in the biggest gears. But when I'm pulling all the heavy gear to go up the hills, I need the smallest gears, and it's hard as hell to go up the big bridges, pulling 2 trailers, pulling 200 kilometers. I need the. So I don't know if there's that gear range in a roll-off. But if there wasn't a gear range in a roll-off, and I had enough money to get the roll-off, I wouldn't get the roll-off right now because I wouldn't be able to make it up the hills, pulling all the heavy gear. So, and yeah, it's not so bad. It's not so terrible. Maybe one day I'll get those blue special edition pedals. Even though these pedals are super awesome, I can't complain. I never grease them or oil them, and they're heavy duty and they work really great on my shoes that I love so much. What if I found like a pair of these secondhand for real cheap on the Yellow Fish program? I might buy them. I might even look when I get off this video, right? Because I know in America I just can't probably get stuff like that, you know, and gonna ship this to America. It's gonna be real hard. I heard people putting noodles from pools around. I'm gonna try to get a bike box, and I hate to leave my wife in China. Normally I go to work, sometimes I don't bring my bike, and my wife's at home in the house. She watches it for me and with the boys. It's hard enough on me losing Taco, you know. I'm not there every day. That breaks my heart, and it's gonna break my heart with my wife not being there. It's gonna make me sad to lose my dog. It's gonna make me terribly sad to lose Apollos, not be there with his mom, and my boys. I know they're all gonna miss their mom. But I hope the bike's gonna be okay, because I'd be really sad to lose my bike too, you know. I'd like to say thanks for the more than 20,000 kilometers, and thanks for everybody watching all the videos that I made in those times. And I know that sometimes I've been tired and I've rode for days and worked and stressed my wife, and you know, she's doing so great now, and I'm getting older, and I wish I could enjoy the calm time like right now, going to work and taking care of my wife and my kids. I'm okay here in China. The bike is okay. I wish we could go around camping in China with all the gear I got and not have to go there and be homeless in America, maybe camp. I wish I could just stay here and work and go to my jobs and go out and enjoy bike with my wife and get Bobby a bike he's ready to ride now. I wish I could do that, but you know, I've got to go back and I got to get a job in Tesla for my kids' future, and it's tough to, it's real hard as I get older. The jobs that I've been doing the last 20 years here, it's been tough, you know, and as I'm getting older, I have to think about the future, and I have to be able to provide for my wife and my kids, and get my wife her own nationality. And I'm worried, after living here nearly 20 years, about the future 5 years in China. There's a huge amount of unemployment. All the stores are closed. People are taking loans from banks and building huge projects that they're just not paying back the banks, and people are running out of the country with money, and it's just not a good equation. I've been threatened before about my visa, and people have been using that as leverage against me to do different jobs. So I just thought, you know, I want to just be married to my wife and have my wife not be threatened. You know what, they threaten like, oh, you could get kicked out and your kids would be separated. And so having the same nationality as my wife would be like, cool, we could always be together, and my kids could always be together with their mom, and I could make sure she's safe, you know, and okay, go to the U.S. and I never thought I could just go work for Tesla or Elon Musk, but now it's like, yeah, I'm young enough, and I'm not gonna be young enough forever. And maybe you know, I teach a lot and I help a lot of kids, and then they graduate and they go on in their life, and I've changed their life, but then I get the new group. But you know what? I'm getting old. There's no pension for me here, and why it's good to help people and to change their lives and to make their lives better. You know, I could have like this Sunday I got to cancel class, so I'm not going to get paid for it. And when they want to cancel classes up, okay, they cancel, and I don't get the money, and it doesn't matter how good job I do, and it's like I've reached the plateau for teaching, you know, and it doesn't matter. I go teaching in the best universities in China, I don't get pension. I reached plateau, you know, and it's not gonna make it safe for my wife and my kids in the future. So Tesla can, and I hope that everybody's okay, whatever job you're doing out there, whatever country you're in, you know. I know it's a hard time for people all over the world. You know, I think we're facing a lot of changes. You know, riding a bike at the end of every single day, riding a bike home and riding this bike home, and whether I'm listening to the news or I'm listening to a podcast or I'm making a video or I'm just quietly thinking in my head, riding a bike is great. It's just like I can tell you another sport, swimming laps. If you're swimming laps, like you're doing 500 or 1,000-meter swim, and you're swimming a lot, and that gives you time to think. Oh wow, it's awesome. A little bit repetitive, but it sure gives you time to get into a rhythm, and it's like magical. But who's got time to go in a swimming pool and do laps, right? But riding a bike is the next best thing, and it's even great. You could, in the nighttime, you can see the moon, and you can see that sometimes traffic is beautiful. You know, and I'm autistic, so whenever you see me riding, I don't know if you know it, but I see patterns in traffic. I see patterns on who's behind me in my peripheral vision, where this car is going next, where that car is coming. For me, it's all, I know it's kind of an obsessive thing. My autism gets obsessed with traffic patterns. Not a good habit, but riding a bike is great, and it's good for the earth. Who knows how much carbon I've saved riding a bike these 20,000 kilometers or more. I wanted to ride more, actually. I'd set my goal on Strava to ride 20,000 kilometers in a year. The only reason why I stopped riding is because I had so much work to do, and sometimes I had to finish the job and I couldn't go ride. Never was it was hard, never was it too tough, or never was I, oh, I don't want to ride. I always like, oh, if I could, I wouldn't be fat if I could just do what I want, but doing what I want doesn't pay the bills, you know? So I gotta try to help my kids, and I wasn't able to ride, so I got out of shape. And I've never found a challenge to lose weight. I found a challenge to have time to work, or time to ride. So riding's a great sport. You could go to work and bring your clothes. Like I said, you don't really stink after you ride a lot, and drink a lot of water. For me, I had a root beer the other day. Yesterday I was crazy. I had a little bit of gummy bears, half bag gummy bears. I told them, but I don't eat sugar anymore. I remember from the Dark Tower series, it always sticks in my head about how Roland would talk about how sugar was only for the richest people in his world, and how every time Roland in the Dark Tower series would say, oh yeah, I couldn't believe the sugar that they put in their teas, and when he had his first cola, and that's right, sugar's not natural how we have it, right? So I've been working on my diet a lot, and like today I only had 4 eggs, and I rode 35 kilometers or whatever, and had a bottle of tea because I didn't have my water, and I'm not dying from hunger. I've been working my appetite down, and I'm not as hungry as I used to be, and that's good because I go to America and nobody's gonna have food, right? I'm trying to make my kids not have a big appetite too. But right now, as it goes, I'm gonna buy an extra chain, and I've got an Xd Derailleur, and I've got extra tubes. I got an extra wheel set. I don't know. I'm gonna try to sell the wheel set, maybe, because I need money to get to the U.S. So this will probably be my only wheel set when I get. I'm gonna sell everything we can to go to the U.S. It's like all the people in the covered wagons sold everything to go the 49ers, right? And I'm sad about the trip. I'm gonna miss China. You know, 20,000 kilometers ago, that was my life. You know, all those days and all those rides. You know, it was really something that was years of my life. And the other bike, you know, China was a long time for me here. You know, a lot of challenges. You know, it's funny when you go back to the U.S. and I talk about go to a homeless shelter sometimes, and I have some people on Reddit ridicule me about being poor, or talking about the price, or they look down on you, say, why not take care of your family? Why did you do that? Why did you make those choices? I don't know. You know, a foreigner can't stay in China and to buy a house and to live like the Chinese people do. It's very difficult, the regulations here. So I lived on the edge of a margin. But I did go to work like all they do. I went to work, and I mean, come on, I taught for almost 20 years. If you teach for almost 20 years in America, you could retire about, right? But I had some good rides, and this is my second bike. I love my other bike too. It was really great, and this is a great bike too. And thanks to Artie for being the only patron I have, for supporting me, and the light, and the bike light, and the rear bike light, and the shorts I'm wearing right now are from Artie. These are some of the Pearl Zoomies he's given me, the smaller pair. And he sent a package one day that had some birthday presents for my children. It was real nice. And all the people that I met through the channel, it's great, you know. And I had a good time doing this. I'm gonna keep doing it. So hate to get sad and choked. I'm getting choked up from cigarette smoke and just being sick right now. But thanks for riding with me. I look forward to seeing you guys another 20,000 kilometers. And this has been my recap. If I missed anything or you have any questions, please let me know. I'd be happy to answer them. Thanks for riding. See you guys later. Or thanks for watching. Bye bye.